Okay, we'll go ahead and call the meeting to order for Columbia 911's Communications District, October 30th, 2025 at 9 a.m. And we'll go ahead and start with the flag salute. Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, I'm Jeff Flatt, board president. We'll go ahead and start with Brian. Who else?
Brian Teamy, Zone 1, Klatskin Eye.
Kelly Hennessy.
Tyler Miller representing Zone 5 Scappoose.
And then Mark.
Mark
is
Checo, Zone 3. Virtual.
virtually today. Okay, Jeremy, staff. Jeremy Hypes, Executive Director.
Mary Jo Beck, Office Support Specialist.
Mark Levine, IT and Facilities.
Nathan Hughes, Tech Manager.
And we are joined online by Danielle Hooper, Operations Manager, and Chandra Egan, CAD Specialist.
Okay, public comment. Any public comment? Anybody online for public comment? No.
No hands raised or anything?
Okay, hearing none, we'll go into additions to the agenda. Any additions to the agenda?
Staff.
Okay. Approval of meeting minutes. Is there a motion to approve the October 2nd, 2025 meeting minutes as presented?
I'll make a motion to approve those.
I'll second.
Brian. Moved in second. Is there any discussion on those minutes? Favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, passes. Financial reports. Mickey is not with us today. She's actually out of the office attending a training. She did include her financial report in the agenda. We're happy to try to answer any questions you may have. If I'm not able to, I will take them back to Mickey and report back to you. Anybody got any questions that we could try to address?
Mr. President. I do have a couple of questions about the check register. Here. Okay. Ready?
Well, yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, I didn't know if we were on acceptance of budget variance
Yeah.
or do we want to do that first or?
Go ahead, let's go ahead and go through questions if you have.
Okay, so just a few questions here. What is Windflower Consulting and Collab LLC?
I can answer that if needed.
Yes, please, Danelle.
That's our contract employee who processes public records requests.
And then on page 3, towards the bottom, probably about 8 rows up or so from the bottom, Northwest Local Government Legal Counsel Advisors, which I believe is Eileen Aiken. I don't recall the board ever seeing an actual engagement and contract from her. Did we? I believe we discussed having her come on and provide like supplemental legal services, but I don't think we ever saw an actual outline of what her services were going to be, her rates or anything like that.
Yeah. Michael, are you on there?
I am. Good morning.
Could you address that question? What about Eileen?
She declined the opportunity. She was too busy.
Okay. She did some work for us.
But she did some initial work for us, and just with her schedule, she just couldn't provide the services that we were requesting.
Okay.
So what services Well, I guess this goes to my second question. When we approve the expenditures, what exactly are we approving as a board?
Yeah, I guess just specifically, you'd have to each, one, I guess, if there's question about an expenditure, then you bring it up and
Well, I guess my point is that I think it would behoove us as a board for our liability and interest that we actually know exactly what we're approving and what our responsibilities are with this, because if we approve something and then it comes back later as an issue and we didn't have the information to review, that could be an issue for us.
Yeah, I mean, from my perspective, that's why it's listed there. And then if we have any questions, that's why we don't hesitate to ask, and then we get clarification, and then.
Yeah. I guess where I'm going with this is unless I see, the invoices for all these things and know what we're actually paying for, I don't feel comfortable for me personally in approving these things. So going forward until there is that level of detail, I will abstain from voting on the approval of the expenditures. Unless there's some sort of clarification that alleviates.
So these are just normal monthly expenses. And from my understanding, again, I'm not CFO, but these are our more normal monthly expenses. And then she lists what it is that particular payment is for. And then the board is asked to review it. And if they have any questions, then she provides further information. But these are just normal every month expenses.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying, but my problem is too, with the public contracting laws and other considerations too, I do have hesitation without knowing what we're paying for, to put my name on approving this. So, that of course doesn't mean the other board members can do whatever they want to do here, but I'm just saying for me, I like the detail considering the ramifications that could be involved with this. There's the government ethics law part of it. There's public contracting under 279 A, B, and C. So yeah, that's where I'm at with this anyway. Thank you for the clarification. And if there is additional clarification from sorry, why did Mickey, thank you.
I can ask her when she gets
Yeah.
back for some extra clarification for you, and I can reach out to the board as well.
Yeah, or
With you guys with the clarification.
or some sort of additional context
Okay.
that just basically makes me feel better about being able to approve something that I don't have the full information on. Definitely willing to consider that, but
Okay. Well, when she gets back, I'll definitely get clarification on that specific one for you and get back, and then we can have further discussion from there on what you guys as a board are looking for from us.
yeah, I
Just
just,
in.
the insight of how we're using our funds too is critically important. We now have on here alone, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 different attorneys, which is really abnormal. So, making sure that we're not duplicating resources and that we're using taxpayer money as most efficiently as we possibly can. It's, something that is a primary fiduciary duty of a board.
Okay, we'll go back to financial reports then. Any other comment, Tyler, or I don't want to cut you off, or you?
No, that's it. Thank you.
Okay, yeah. So, financial reports, budget variance. Jeremy mentioned it. Is there a motion to approve the budget variance as presented?
Motion.
Okay, we have a motion.
I'll second.
Second, Tyler had comment.
I'm sorry, I'm just taking a look at something here really quick. Sorry, I had to review what all the budget variance includes, and because it directly relates to the expenditures, I'm gonna abstain on that one as well.
Okay, So we got a motion and a second. Any other discussion on budget variance? Go ahead and call for the vote. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Either abstain. Mark, did you? I didn't.
I heard him.
Okay, Mark, okay. And now we'll move on to expenditures. We already kind of discussed some of that. Any other questions on expenditures? Jeremy's gonna get information.
I will get some more information, clarification on specifically that one question. I'll reach out to you guys and then we can have further discussion on how you guys want to see more or how we're gonna present that for you guys to review.
Okay, motion, do we have a motion to approve expenditures as presented?
I'll make a motion. They approve that.
Shelley. I'll second. Ryan, second. It's been moved and seconded, and we've already kind of discussed it, any other discussion? Expenditures. Go ahead and call for the vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay, motion carries. Passes. And then operations report, Danelle.
Hello, everyone. My report this month is pretty brief, mostly about hiring and staffing. Our rolling recruitment continues, and each month it's going smoother and smoother. An update from last time that we met. Our July applications, we gave 6 conditional job offers. Currently, one of them is still in background. One of them has passed their psych so far, and then we have 3 others that are in the psych evaluation stage. We gave 1 conditional job offer from our August applicants, and that was our soft lateral with about 7 years of out-of-state experience. We're excited about that. And September, we just interviewed one of the September applicants yesterday and provided a conditional job offer. We have 1 other applicant to interview, and October applications will be processed in November. So that's overall going very smooth, and we anticipate starting in November, at least 1 or 2, possibly even 3 of those. Our certified training officers, we currently have 5. 2 of them did step down currently and may be rejoining later. Kim is going to start the training certification process and join our team. We're excited about that. And both of our trainees graduated from Basic Academy on September 26th. They had a great experience, really positive feedback, and I'm really happy about the experience that they had. So Beth is progressing. She's finishing up her first block, and Jamie actually started Skill Build and is set to be on his own and solo on November 9th, unless anything else comes up, and we'll give him that extra attention. Compliance, all staff are still in compliance and training program is going well. Bree completed her supervisory academy, so she'll be getting that certification. And we want to congratulate our communication specialist, Madison. She had a healthy baby born and is enjoying motherhood and on leave right now. Social media remains consistent. Trunk or Treat ended up getting canceled due to some pretty windy weather, but we do look forward to participating in that next year. An update on the number of public records requests. This report says 763. However, I checked this morning and we're already at 780. We have dispatch staff that are stepping up and being involved in updating our standard operating guidelines. Recently, we had a law enforcement, our quarterly sergeants and supervisors meeting. It went really well, a lot of engagement. We've been working on a pretty big project that Kirby has spearheaded with other law enforcement leadership in the county to develop a communications guide that's going to be used to update our field training communications manual. And so I'm excited about that as well. Does anyone have any questions about operations?
Oh, good report. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Nathan. Report.
Yeah, so the Hydra analysis is complete. We met with Day Wireless already. We're waiting for some additional information from the report. So we don't have it in hand yet. But once we do, we'll share with the board the results of that. Radio communications with Trojan are working again. We are still making some modifications so that will be improved here in the near future. Both HVAC BARD units at Quarry Hill failed for different reasons. We were able to get one of them back up and running. Unfortunately, the other one was leaking R22, which is like gold trying to buy. So we are putting it on hold with the one working unit going into winter because it's better to be cold than it is to be hot. But we are going to be looking at grant funds for that replacement because it is pretty spendy. Additionally, at Quarry Hill Shelter, we noticed a leak in the building. We believe we caught it early enough that it didn't cause enough damage, and the area that it impacted was not near any equipment. So we got a quote from Premier Restoration for $2,953.95 to come replace the water damaged area and seal the building back up. Additionally, as we go to other facilities, we're going to be looking for similar ingresses into the building and making sure all of our seals are tip-top shape. Network. So we had a meeting with our firewall vendor, Fortinet. They informed us that our firewall is going to be losing support in the near future. We got a quote to extend our current support to the end date, but it's a pretty critical piece of our network that we do not want to be out of date on because they do get hacked and it's basically the brain of our operations. So we got many different quotes from them for all different kinds of configurations that would fit our needs. We're going to be looking at grant funds to purchase that potentially. And if not, then we might have to go with a 1-year contract with them and see how the levy goes. Timeline for Magix. So since writing this, it's changed a little bit. We've noticed a couple bugs in 25.5 that we're getting a lot of pushback from operations about. So we might be pushing the upgrade out a little bit further, but we are still working actively to get upgraded to version 25 dot something. Washington Roofing, they're out there right now. Have they completed the roof yet? Or do they have that one section left?
So there is one bay that remains to have the membrane installed on the extension building, but a new membrane has been installed across the rest of the building. We're probably looking at next week to actually finish the installation because once the membrane is down, there are some metal elements, metal ridge capping and gutters to install. Very excited to get gutters back on the building. But progress has been good there. Sorry to jump in.
Perfect.
Like me to continue a bit on that? Sure.
Do you guys have further questions about the roof? Then I guess we'll move on. So we finalized the contract with
Little bit of a leak. I hear some small leaks have been found, but nothing major. Is that?
Yeah, so the heading into this, our big question was how much damage were we going to find once we got the membrane up? And we have been very fortunate. It's looking quite good. There was deterioration around the perimeter, pretty much the entire perimeter of the roof, which is what we had observed and led us to be concerned about, well, what else are we going to find? But this has been good news all around. We were prepared for what ifs that we have been very lucky to have not found. So it's just
as it stands now, we're barely going to touch the contingency that you guys approved. Very good. And moving on, we finalized the contract with Cobalt Painting. We're just waiting to schedule them once the roof is complete.
Anybody got any other questions for Nathan or Merks?
Mr. President, do you have
Nathan, I have a question about the water leak situation and the shelters up at the radio sites. Do we have water detection at all in any of those facilities?
No, but it too hard to add. Part of that was a camera system upgrade, but with the levy not passing, it kind of got pushed off. The system we were looking at was pretty cool. It could do a lot of different sensors, door sensors, leak sensors. It could even monitor the generators for us. As it stands now, we'd be going more of a DIY approach just to save the money.
Yeah. I guess where my concern comes from is a lot of those shelters are aging. And water leak with those specific concrete shelters are generally like one of the number one things that occurs with them, especially with age. But it would seem prudent to put water leak sensors, especially around that equipment, as soon as feasible. Because if water leaks on the repeaters or anything else, it's likely to ruin them, as you know.
Yeah.
So that can turn into quite the expense if we aren't alerted and can address it immediately.
Yeah, so part of that was we were looking at remote monitoring for temperature too, because when these HVAC units go out, we're finding out when we do our site visits.
Yeah.
And so being able to detect those earlier, especially if we're down to one unit, being able to quickly identify, since we don't have that redundancy. Luckily, not luckily, the leak was found to be coming from a conduit that the seal had just deteriorated on. It wasn't coming from the roof or anything, so it was relatively low on the building where it penetrated. So there's not a whole lot high up that we have to worry about. But I see what you're saying. There are a lot of risks, not.
Yeah, the sensors have really advanced. You can even do RF deflection into the system now with those sensors as well. Yeah, and with Intermod and everything. So, and field monitoring on the generator set. There's so many sensors now too that would be really beneficial at some point.
Is that something that you could pursue and kind of give us an idea what it would look like? And
So something that we put together that's not a commercial product, it's probably a couple $1,000 initially for the hardware, and then about $100 a month, probably less, for the continued monitoring and the licensing.
yeah. I think we can afford that. That might be money well spent. Just
Yeah,
nip a problem in the bud if catch it early, you know, but.
And if you want to send me some information on products too, I mean, I've been kind of going around and looking at different things, but I know you have some expertise there.
yeah, we actually received quotes back in 2015 for different sensors. I don't remember the company name. I can see if I can find it and the quote. If I can, I will send it to you and Executive Director Hypes, so you can look into that. It didn't, if I remember correctly, it wasn't too expensive to do. And then of course it all, runs through IP through the microwave system, which was recently upgraded, so that shouldn't be a problem.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Yeah. Any other questions for Nathan or Merks? Okay, Jeremy, we'll do old business.
All right, old business, radio system update, just to add a little bit to the what we just talked about as far as the Hydra report. We did wireless well verifying results of the Hydra report, came across some unusual, well, just to make it easier, interference. It's called lower noise. And basically it's a level that is drastic enough that it could actually be impacting the ability for radio communications from the field to us. So I've been trying to track down some different places. The highest point was found between Fred Meyers, the Peace Candle, and Boltanos in Scappoose. They've already eliminated the Peace Candle. We asked them to temporarily to shut it off for a couple of minutes so we can do a quick test and then flip it back on, and it didn't seem to make a difference. They went into the attic of Fred Meyers. There is a radio system in there, and they cycled that system and found a little bit of a variance there, but still not what the big impact is. So there's a couple of other ideas floating around right now. Tyler's been offering up some great suggestions of stuff he might know of in his area that would be potentially impactful. And one of the things that Day Wireless has come up with is potentially electric vehicle charging stations. There is a lot of electricity coming through those. I know there's a couple in the parking lot of Fred Meyer's, but we're gonna have to see if we can find a way to test those. I don't know that we can shut those off. We're gonna have to be able to test it, but there's other things we can do to try to figure it out. But that being said, we are working on trying to eliminate some of those. He did say there's some other spots around St. Helens that are similar, but not nearly as impactful as that one in Scappoose. That one just seemed to jump off the meter and was really easily noticed. So that is something that we're actively trying to track down and figure out what that interference, we'll call it, really is and where it's coming from, and see if we can find a way to mitigate it. So as far as that, that's pretty much the update we have right now. The Hydro report is complete. We saw some of the aerial mapping. We're looking for more of the technical stats. The Day Wireless is working on putting together for us now, which includes, you know, the height of the links and everything else on the tower, all information that we need, especially going forth. Trying to replace equipment, we need to know what we're replacing, the height, and it'll also give us an idea of there's a way we can offset a link to increase radio communications, make it more penetrable. So it'll buy us some time with our aging system while we can put together a formalized plan to move forward in the replacement of equipment as we can come up with money for that stuff. So we are making some headway, at least with the current system, and still trying to work on some pathways to start working on individual sites to start updating some of the equipment as we go, as kind of a piecemeal approach to replacement. So we just don't have the funding right now to replace the whole system as one big chunk, as we're all aware, but that doesn't mean we can't find little things that we can do at each site individually to start making that process move forward. So that's what we're working on now.
I have a comment, and I don't know if this is even where, but so I brought it up a few months back, but we're still getting bleed over on our school bus radios of 911 calls.
School bus radios?
Yeah, so we use the same similar type of radios.
Mhm.
Our power isn't as much as the FCC has us on lower power,
Right.
but
The bleed over.
yeah, out in I believe it was out in Mist where we're getting bleed over
Okay.
of calls.
Do you utilize a repeater, Shelley? Do you know?
Yep.
You do. Do you know if it's up at Class 9 Mountain or Corey Hill?
I believe there are multiple, it's wherever we're closest to is where it repeats off of.
Okay.
In some cases, we are allowing shared antenna systems.
Right, yeah.
We have a similar problem with the fire frequencies bleeding over to L2 also.
Gotcha.
So they're.
Yeah.
Are you hearing dispatch and the field units? Or?
I don't know.
Okay.
That I don't have. I didn't ask. They were just a little surprised they were hearing it, but
If you
ours goes whatever,
yeah.
like if we're in Astoria, I can hit off Saddle Mountain and actually talk in Vernonia, which is rare, but
Right.
it just depends on how the wind blows, if we could talk that far, but it does hit off different repeaters
Yeah.
depending on what we're at.
Okay. All right. We'll have a conversation about that. And yes, that is definitely, if we're sharing sites, certainly is a potential issue. All right. Thank you. I'll make note of that and we'll look into it.
Get their frequencies, they're in and out. Maybe that'd be helpful.
Yeah, yeah. All right, public education and outreach. In my executive director's report, I posted the meetings that I've attended this month or since our last meeting. There's quite a few listed there. Events attended, again, trunk or treat, as Danelle posted or brought up, was canceled. So that one actually was not attended because it didn't occur. But those are all the places I've been, just trying to get out to the community, meet people, let people know how to reach me if they got questions, comments, concerns. Get myself better antiquated with the people in this community and the positions they play and who to reach out to if I got questions and feedback and stuff like that. Any questions on public education and outreach? Amended board policy. We're still working on amending that policy. Again, we did reach out to the other districts around the state to see what their policies look like so we could try to mimic them. We've been inundated trying to put out fires this month. Little things going on. We'll try to put in a concerted effort into trying to get something into your hands at the next meeting on what that looks like.
Can I make a comment
Yeah.
about that? So on the, any red lines that come before the board,
Mhm.
for us to review and approve,
Okay.
can they be just that? Can they please be red lines? So we actually know what the previous version was and then what the suggested changes are?
Yep.
Because I believe the last draft that we got, and I actually couldn't find it in the last 3 board meetings on the website. So I can't remember how we got that, but it was the quote unquote clean version that didn't have any of the track changes or red lines, so I didn't really know how it, varied
Yep.
from
Nope,
the
makes sense.
previous.
Okay. We'll make that happen. All right, PR release and internal employee report. I think that's going to be for executive session, if I remember correctly. Employee attorney search update, Barron, Liebman, and Miller Nash. So we did reach out to Northwest Local Law Group, or I can't remember exactly how they're naming their company. They discussed it amongst the partners. They were not able to take us on currently. They're just overworked as it is. But they did appreciate us reaching out and asking. We had the other company, Wolf, that we reached out to before last meeting. They still haven't ever submitted their bios, so we're moving on and no longer going to consider them as an option. But there is Miller Nash has submitted both her scope of legal services and agreement for legal services, and then there's also the proposal, which includes the costs, billing rates, and the bios on the individual representatives that would be working with us. And there is also a proposal from Barron Liebman Law Group that also for you guys' review.
Are you requesting, sorry, Mr. President. Are you requesting action on this today?
Not necessarily today. I wanted to make sure you guys had these documents. It's been a search we've been looking for. But you guys now wanted to open up a conversation if you guys have questions or conversation prior, but also for your review. And then the recommendation would be hopefully at next meeting, we can make a vote and put it to rest if at all possible. But there's the documentation for you guys now. And yes, Taylor, did you have another question?
Yeah, in regard to the proposal that you were seeking and so that he didn't respond.
Right.
I think the city of Scappoose is also trying to obtain him for services because Ashley was our employment law counsel over at Bray Elsner Hammond. She's actually leaving to be a consultant and she recommended him. And last I heard, we were having a hard time being able to get in touch with him to get a proposal as well. So all that to say, it's not specific to the district or whatever. It sounds like he's just really busy.
Yeah.
I did, I don't know if now's the time. I did read through the different proposals and made some observations that I'd like to share when we get to that.
Yeah, go ahead.
So on the Barron Liebman proposal, I did note that it's a 34-page proposal as where with a lot of really good information about both the partners and the associates that the firm is saying that they would assign to the district as needed. As where Miller Nash is, it was a 13 or 15 page, but it went up to 18 pages just recently. And 5 of those pages are an agreement. So I was impressed with Barron Liebman's credentials in establishing all the different qualifications and the history of their firm, amongst many other things over the 34 pages that they submitted in their proposal. It was noticeably different from the Miller Nash proposal. The other thing that I made an observation about is that Barron Liebman included 4 attorneys in their proposal. 2 are partners at a rate of $475, and then 2 were associates at $350. Miller Nash did not list any associates, and typically, in my experience, the way this works is the associates will actually do a lot of the work with the partners, basically validating it. So it would seem that based on the proposal and the fact that we have the associates and the rates listed in the Barron proposal, that the cost to the district would be less hypothetically, just because there are associates listed and the rates. Let's see. There is bios included in Barron's. I think I said this, sorry, but I think there is bios included for all four of the attorneys that they are listing. Notably though, the partner rate between Barron and Miller Nash are the same, both at $4.75 an hour. But I did like that Barron actually listed the two associates in their credentials and that they would be $3.50 an hour opposed to the Miller Nash proposal that was lacking those details. I did get Mary Jo's email about there being an update to the Miller Nash proposal, and I did review that. I noted that there were a couple additional pages. But do you know exactly what changed in between the prior proposal and the one that was uploaded yesterday?
The initial first 6 pages
Okay.
are the new.
Got it.
I just added it to their packet. So the first 6 pages of that Miller Nash proposal is what is new.
Okay.
That's all I have. Thank you. Yeah, I had the same questions, Tyler, with I was looking at that update, trying to figure out what had changed, so. Okay, back to Jeremy.
All right. The team SDAO training and team building, I actually have coffee scheduled first thing tomorrow morning with George Dunkel. He was out of town. So we're gonna sit down tomorrow and try to figure out some dates that I can bring to you guys for training and team building. I think we can all certainly use an update, and I know Mark is still needing his annual initial training for the board. So I will work with George tomorrow morning, try to get something lined up, some dates for you guys. I'll email them out to you before the next meeting. So hopefully we can get something scheduled sooner than later. And we're not putting it off any longer. I'll let you know, and then you guys can kind of give me an idea if you're available. We'll see if we can try to get something scheduled for all of us.
All right. New business then, Jeremy.
All right, the agenda items were added on behalf of Mr. Miller, the executive director leave discussion.
Want me to?
Please, go ahead.
Yeah, so I just noticed that, so this came in full transparency, this came up because, and I don't blame you, you had leave scheduled. Right immediately when you came on, it was already planned, understandable. But it made me think about this because we had just went through a similar exercise basically with the city manager. And it's not that the city council wanted to approve leave. I mean, you're an adult and executive, you can approve your own, but it's just a matter of communication. So what we did at the city is, again, it's not an approval thing.
Mhm.
It's just, hey, will you let us know when you're going to be gone for more than 3 additional consecutive days? So for example, holidays and weekends, of course, don't count. But if it's 3 or more, basically council just wanted to be notified, like, hey, I'm going to be out of town during these days. And part of the reason for that is that usually, not always, but usually they're unavailable. And, as the board, we like to know who's, running the show during that extended leave time. So it's just a suggestion that if the rest of the board likes the concept as well, that we just get a notification anytime there's going to be, and what that basically amounts to is 5 days or more being gone consecutively, not just 3.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with that. I think it's good
I
communication.
think it's perfectly reasonable.
Yeah.
I don't have any concerns either. Okay, so would the board prefer just by email? Any other official notifications, or I'll try to notify you guys here at the meeting prior if
Yeah.
it's aware, and then I'll just do an email to the group.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
perfectly
Okay.
fine. Thanks.
Yep.
Do you want me to go into the second one?
Yeah, and then the second one will be the director performance review. Go ahead, Taylor.
Okay, so we're actually, again, the reason this was brought up is because we're going through a similar exercise with the city. Trying to really focus in on, what we want to see on the performance evaluation. And I just want to kind of level set here too, and to make sure that everybody knows that performance evaluation is supposed to be a positive tool. It's supposed to be, given to an employee to, help them develop their career. And I think it's been summarized, but it's supposed to be positive. But as a governing body, especially of a, public entity, it's, our responsibility, one of our primary responsibilities as board to make sure that we are setting the expectations and evaluating the performance and giving guidance on a consistent basis to not letting things get to the point where they're an actual issue is also, of course, really important, be able to have those conversations. I'm not saying there is any issues, I'm just saying that in general, that's how what we really talked about the city. And so we just went through it's called the City Manager Performance Assessment Tool, Functional Areas and Performance Assessment. And it's been going on now for 6 months. And Kim Holmes, who's one of our city councilors, she's a CEO in her normal life, lack of a better term. And one of our other city councilors who recently just left, who works in HR at Nike, actually teamed on bringing this together. And they did an excellent job. We're still going through the motions because it's been a multi-month process with bringing feedback, or excuse me, bringing different information to council, talking about it, adjusting as needed. But we're trying to make it very clear, very streamlined. But one of the things that is really important ahead of the performance evaluation too is every year we do goal setting and we do annual goal setting. And basically, in the case that I'm talking about, the city manager's job basically is to figure out and implement the goals that the city council sets for them. How they do that is, up to them, of course. But that foundation with the goals of what the governing body wants and how how the executive director or city manager in this case makes progress on those things is kind of like the core area of how we're evaluating the city manager in this case. So I did send Jeff a draft. I asked Kim, of course, if I could use her work, and she said, by all means, if it helps other agencies, she said, great, go for it. So I did send Jeff. I don't know if you got it, Jeff.
I glanced at it. I didn't have time to.
Okay. Yeah, and the reason I'm bringing it up now too is because it'll probably be, if we want to do something and kind of reevaluate this, it will probably be a multi-month process. And we did a 6-month check-in at the city manager's request because he just wanted to know, how he was doing and what the general consensus was. So that's always something that we can consider, but more formally, it's on, an annual basis. But these things take time, so that's why I'm bringing it up now, so that we can have plenty of discussion if we do want to do something as a collective body. And I can send this out. I'm happy to even create a draft that's more specific to 911 to circulate it and have feedback and whatever you guys want to do. But anyway, I just think that it's a really, really important tool for us to have something very solid in place that benefits Jeremy and the district.
And I will just add note, my contract also does specifically say semi-annual check-in and an annual as well. So it would make sense to have some sort of a formalized document or process for you guys to review.
I think Tyler, just maybe go ahead and distribute it like it is before you spend a lot of time, changing it, and then everybody can look at it and then we can discuss what we want to do from there.
Yeah, I'll send exactly, if it's okay, if it's a consensus, I will send it as is. And then I'll wait to make sure that you guys actually want to go forward with doing something. And then if you do, I can come up with a draft. But we were really collaborative on this process. We worked a lot with the city manager to also get his input on what he felt was important too. So I would expect the same with Jeremy too, that we would come up with a draft when we would work collaboratively with him on the different aspects that you want feedback on to help with professional development as well.
Would it help if I reached out to any other districts to see what the board's doing for their director's review too, just for you guys to have some extra information if you don't?
And additionally, maybe what it's been done here in the past too, so.
Yeah, we looked, when we started this exercise, we did that, and we reached out to the League of Oregon Cities. The contact there was the former city manager of, sorry, I'm blanking. It was a fairly good sized city in Oregon, and she's been a tremendous resource, but she's given a lot of information back to us. So we didn't really reinvent the wheel on any of this to your point. We did get a lot of looked at all of that and then came up with something that was fitting for us.
And Jeremy, you're talking about reaching out to other 911.
Yeah, the other 911 districts, just so you guys have some specific 911 related information to be able to feast on as well. Okay, yeah, I can reach out and see if they can send me what they use.
Yeah, one of the things that came up in here too is the rating scales. They kind of drive me bonkers, like the 1 through 5. And my feedback was either it needs improvement, meets expectation, or it exceeds expectation. It doesn't need to be overly complicated, but Anyway, that was one of the things that we had some disagreement on, kind of a funny thing to have disagreement on, but anyway, it did.
President Flatt, may I speak to this?
Yes.
On a legal issue? So Mr. Hype's contract at 8.1 sets out performance review standards. And if we're discussing amplifying the standards, that's appropriate, but we don't want to go too far and change the contract because it's a contract and it's binding on both parties. So I would just caution that let's follow through on Mr. Miller's suggestions, but be mindful that we do have a signed contract with Mr. Hypes.
Yeah, thank you. And
Good point. Yeah.
I did read his contract to make sure that your performance review is in there this morning, and it is. And if I am able to create a draft, if we want to move forward, it will be within the context of what's in that agreement.
Very good.
All right, any other questions about the performance review or comments? All right, then, just as kind of a reminder for everybody, the SDAO conference, February 5th through 8th will be in Seaside. I don't know historically if we help you guys schedule that, but I'm sure Mary Jo would be more than happy to schedule it. If you guys would like to attend, to let Mary Jo or I know, and we can get it set up for you.
Yeah, normally, you just let me know if that's something that you are available to attend, or want to attend. Normally, they start releasing rooms at the venue in December. So that's why I try to give enough time, look at your schedules. I normally reserve a good 6 rooms. And then I just release them as we don't need them. So
So when do you need to know by?
I think the cancellation date is in January, but if you can let me know before the end of the year would be best. And as far as Northwest Leadership Seminar, that one's just in Portland. So we don't normally book rooms or anything like that. But if there is a need, you know, we can look at it and go from there.
And the SDAO is in Seaside this year.
Yes.
And just so you guys are aware, back to the conversation we had earlier, I do sit on the committee, the board for Northwest Leadership Seminar. So it is local, so I should still be local, but I may not be in office at all times, but I will have my phone. So I'll remind you guys as we get a little closer and make sure you guys are on the loop on that. But that would be one of those occasions where I might not necessarily be in the office, but available to phone calls and emails if need be. So.
Mr. President, just a quick note here. When I send this out via email, please don't reply to it. So don't want to create a quorum issue. We can send it out, but we can't have discussion about it. So just save all discussion for the actual meeting.
I wonder if maybe sending it to Jeremy and having Jeremy send it out would be the way to do that.
It doesn't, at the end, it doesn't avoid the legal issue. I mean, you could reply to, actually, I think I know what you're talking about. So you could reply to Jeremy though, right? And Jeremy only.
And
Right.
I've got it. Oh, yeah.
yeah, if you reply to me, I can document all the comments or stuff that comes up, and then we can, the next meeting when we convene, we can bring it all, and I'll just bring all the documentation and we can discuss it as a group at that point.
Yeah.
That way you don't have to try to remember or keep notes. You can just email them to me and I'll hold on to them for you.
Okay. Anything else, Jeremy?
That's nothing else for me.
Okay. So I think we're ready for executive session. At this time, we'll enter into executive session under ORS 192.660 subsection 2H legal counsel and ORS 192.660 subsection 2.0 security. Any action taken after executive session? Any action may be taken after executive session from with legal counsel.
Give me a second.
Hey, everybody, we're trying to get the recording to work here. We're gonna go ahead and resume here in just a second.
It's never done this before. This is really weird. There it goes. Scanning. Sorry, guys. Bear with me. Electronics.
Okay, we got 11:35 and go ahead and zoom the regular meeting, and we've got next board meeting is Thursday, scheduled for Thursday, November 20th at 9 a.m. Make sure that works for everybody, and then if we have any agenda items, anybody wants to, now would be a good time to talk about that. I think that day looks good for me.
Good for me.
Yep, this time I'm good with that.
Tyler and Mark, that November 20th, Thursday, 9 a.m. Does that work for both of you guys?
Yes, it works for me.
Yeah, it works for me as well.
Okay. Any other business? Anybody? No action coming out of the executive session, nothing that we need to do there. Anybody got anything else?
I just wanted to take a moment to thank everybody for feedback. Tyler, thank you as we're looking for that Scaboose issue. Thank you for the feedback on the possible options for where that interference is coming from. I appreciate it. You know that community much better than I do, so I do appreciate that feedback as we're trying to track it down. And thank you to all the board members and my staff. You know, I'm just cresting that 90-day mark, and I really appreciate all the support you guys have all provided me through this process. So.
All right. We'll go ahead and move into board member comments. I'll start with Mark.
I just wanted to say that I'm sorry for not being able to be there in person, and you know, everything went well in the surgery, and hopefully I'll be able to be there on the 20th and actually be upright and walking around like a normal person. So that's my dream at this point. But you know, aside from that, I think that we're making good progress, and we're moving these projects in the right direction. You know, we just need to keep doing what we're doing. So thank you all for helping out with that.
Okay, Tyler.
I don't really have anything. Mark, I hope you feel better and your recovery is as quick as possible. Sounds like the surgery was successful.
Right, Brian.
Mark, just, hope you get better soon. Glad you were able to join us today virtually. Just thank you to all the staff for the hard work they always put in as always, and to the achievements and accomplishments that they've made, and congratulations to Madison as well.
Shelley.
Just gonna reiterate, Mark, we're just thinking about you and keep getting better and better. It's important, and thanks to everybody for all your hard work. Jeremy, I'm sure it's been a ride coming on and trying to get caught up with everything. So just thank everybody. Weather's been a little crazy, so I'm sure that 911's been affected by that.
Yeah, and I just will reiterate with Mark, you're on the road to recovery. If there's anything, I can speak for everyone here, anything that you need help with, anything, do not hesitate to reach out, because we're all here to help you. So glad to have you on the road to recovery. Look forward to having you at the next meeting if that's doable. Yeah, shout out to the staff. This nightmare of a roof project is the tunnel is what do I want to say? It's almost done. It's okay. So we can see the light at the end of the tunnel. So appreciate everybody's efforts on that. And that's it. So Any other comments? Then we'll go ahead and adjourn. This time 11:39. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.